Ready for battle.
I'm Nuke the Stars, and I'm here to say I'm casting Group D in the major way. Okay. Yes, this is what happens when I cast a group the day after another one. I run out of ideas and start rapping. Is this what you really want, people? Really? But this is Group D, Modesty, Horang2, Zero, and Haya. Haya, who is not playing on a team. He is gone rogue. The Rafflecopter's gone rogue. But, oh god. What is this, monkey cam? I think the guys are, whoa, dropping the camera a bit. But this first set is going to be Modesty versus Horang2. Here we go. Except, up at the 10 o'clock position in yellow is Modesty. That means at the 5 o'clock position in purple, I think, is Horang the second. Modesty you probably remember most as being a semi-finalist in the 2010 Bacchus OSL. It's the highest he's made it in a tournament. He was in the round of 8 last season, went off against Hydra, and lost to Hydra on Hydra's way up to the semis. But Modesty is more of a ZVZ specialist. His other matchups are kind of in the 40s, high 40s, but his ZVZ is way up there. But I was looking up his stats actually, and ZVZ actually didn't contribute much to his semi-final run in the 2010 Bacchus OSL, because he only played 1 or 2 Zerg on his way up. So he didn't really need to utilize that talent for his major run through the OSL. So he probably has a lot of dormant talent that he could harness in this OSL as well. But he's putting down Spawning Pool first. Let's see. Yes, Modesty did lose to Stork in that Bacchus OSL in the semifinals. Got stomped, and then Stork went on to get stomped by Fantasy, making me cry and eat all the ice cream in the world. Okay, on the other side we have Horang2, who is a PvP specialist. Both these guys are kind of specialists in a certain matchup, in the mirror matchup specifically. He has a 67% versus Protoss record, which is very, very good. That guy is texting someone while something is happening and almost picking his nose. That's great. And let's see. Horang2 had a split Pro League record last season, and he's never faced Modesty before. These are my fun little facts that I wrote down. I figured I'd do a little bit of research today since I kind of mucked up a few details of Group C casts. You know which details those were, unless you didn't look it up, which I would be thankful for. Please don't call me on my mistakes. Cannon coming up. Standard Forge Fast Expand from Horang, but he did throw down the Nexus first before his cannon was up, which was a risky move. He did not go out to scout first, so he's kind of playing risky already, seeing as though this was a spawning pool first build. If it had been a 5-pool or something, Horang would be absolutely completely screwed by now. He would not be able to come back at all. But since this was, I think, an overpool opening from Modesty, Horang is going to be okay with that single cannon. The Zerglings are already making their way down to the natural expansion, but they're going to run into resistance unless Modesty wants to be crazy and do a run-by of sorts. He's going in, seeing the amount of cannons, he sees just the one, and he also sees the gateway coming up at the same time. Horang is eventually going to find Modesty up here at this 10 o'clock, get the information he needs. But I saw that the second base was plopped down for Modesty, second and third. He's already working on his third as well, over at the 9 o'clock. But both are kind of playing out of their element. They both have kind of middling records that aren't their mirror matchup. So they're both kind of playing out of their element here. Although a lot of Horang2's games impressed me in this last Pro League. He was fielded a lot. He has a split record, but he won a lot of games on his way up. Did a good job for CJ Intis there. Even won one against Flash, for God's sake. For Flash's sake. He won a game against Flash, but the next day in that playoff, he was actually taken down by Flash in the rematch. So that's a bit embarrassing. You know, if I beat Flash, I would just say, screw it. I just drop all my equipment, kick the keyboard off the desk and say, see you guys, just walk out, kick down the door, speed away in a car, and of course spin out on my way out of the parking lot. And I would never play another game again. But Horang is coming back. He wants to win this OSL, and he's going to have to defeat a semi-finalist to do it. Okay, there is... God, why do they keep flashing images? I don't know what's up with these source VODs from Esports TV, but they have flashing, indoctrinating images, which are always strange and don't have anything to do with anything. But, okay, let's take a look inside this base. Stargate and the Citadel of Adun coming up at the same time for Horang. Getting that second assimilator going. He's going to need it for all that tech. Let's see, I think that Modesty's third base was up and mining. He's already got that up and mining with no resistance yet from Horang. Horang was kind of testing the waters by going out with his zealots earlier, just trying to find some Zerglings to snipe, I think, because a Zerg player will typically keep their Zerglings right outside of the natural expansion so they can run back and forth, getting more scouting information, seeing if the forge is spinning, stuff like that. And I actually haven't checked on Horang's forge to see if that's spinning or not. It's a first-person view of Horang getting out his first Corsair, sending that straight for Modesty's bases. And he hasn't scouted Modesty's third yet, so that's probably the first place he's going to go with that Corsair. Once you get the exact information on how many bases that Modesty has. Some additional hatcheries on the way for Modesty. Seems pretty standard so far from him. Getting up the Spire. And a lot of Zerglings outside this natural expansion, they will be able to get that information on the forge, seeing that it is spinning, getting the +1 upgrade. So we can expect Horang to take a little bit longer with his first push, but there is a Corsair going straight for the Overlord. And I think that Horang might have scouted that 9 o'clock base, but he wants to take out the Overlord as quickly as he can before getting out of there, before the Scourge land, of course. Like what happened to Stork yesterday. That was pretty bad. But two Corsairs are in the air. And yeah, Horang2 was looking for the Overlord that was next to his base, but he hasn't found it yet. Just now found it down at the 6 o'clock. I see that on the mini-map. He's going to intercept that Overlord, take it down, and hopefully get back to his bases before the Scourge are really a presence in this game. Another Overlord sniped. I think that's 2 in this game. It's going to hurt Modesty quite a bit. So you'll have to pump those additional Overlords, but let's see where Modesty's strategy branches. He has not put down a Hydralisk Den or anything yet. He has a lot of hatcheries out, but I haven't seen the Hydralisk Den yet from him, which is interesting. Might be thinking about going for the 4th base or Mutas. I think it was, what was that sniped? I think it might have been a Zealot sniped behind that natural expansion. Seemed to be a Zealot that had gone in just for a bit of extra scouting, probably. But here come the Corsairs, going to get intercepted if they're not too careful by those Scourge. So cannons being warped, by Horang2 at each of his bases. I saw a Muta pop, just saw the Mutalist pop. So yeah, Modesty is going to try to take that air superiority by landing Scourge. Oh, he's getting into position to land these Scourge on the Corsair. Get a close go. Two Corsairs going down. You can see that coming from a mile away, but it's always exciting when the Scourge get close to the Corsairs like that. But only 1 Corsair left. No, there's an additional Corsair back home for Horang, so we will have about 2, I think. Yeah, there's the 2 Corsairs, but it might not be enough. There's the 1 cannon inside the main. Another Scourge not managing to get close to that 1 Corsair. Some more Scourge coming in. Oh, I think most of the Corsairs are pretty much gone for Horang. He has 1 almost getting sniped by the Scourge, but it's a High Templar being pulled in to try to storm on top of these Mutas, but Horang has got to be careful. He can't storm over his own probes or anything like that. It looks like he does catch a couple more Mutas with the storm, cleans up the rest with the Corsair, so he actually does protect against this attack, but I don't think that Modesty is going to let up. I think he was just testing things with those Mutas, making sure that he could get some damage done, and now he sees a golden opportunity with the limited amount of Corsairs that are in the air. He's saying, well, if I could just get rid of those last few Corsairs, I can probably take this game. He's coming in with more Scourge, lands 3 Scourge, I think, gets that 1 Corsair down to half health. But Horang is having none of this. He's moving out with some Zealots, trying to pressure and get those Mutas back to this natural expansion, because Modesty is still pumping them, is continuing to pump mutas, seeing an opportunity. He is not even utilizing that Hydralisk in yet. But if Horang can actually get down this Mutalist troop, I think that's going to change. There's some more Scourge coming in for Modesty. I see he's going to try to focus with those Scourge. I'm not sure if the ground troops have the +1 upgrade or not. I see the Forge is still spinning, but that could be +2. You'll have to take a look at the ground upgrade soon. The observers are not looking at it, of course, but they probably don't have the +1 yet. Let's see, the Mutas are camping out behind the natural expansion, going to try to get a bit of harassment on these probes, take out the one single cannon that's behind here. Cannon gone, so only Corsairs and that Archon, if it's anywhere near here, will be able to protect against this. Yeah, here comes the Archon. The Archon is going to try to come in and protect a bit. The Mutas do outrange Archons, but not by much. It's usually difficult to get Muta micro enough to fend off a Archon. So Modesty will have to either micro against that Archon or just get out of here as quickly as he possibly can. But he's sniping some probes, sniping a lot of probes inside of this main after causing a lot of problems at that natural expansion. 2 Archon splash hit. 1 splash hit is absolutely devastating for a grouping of Mutas, but the High Templar coming in close too could get a nice storm over this, but this is some epic harassment from Modesty. He's doing some great harassment already, but hopefully he doesn't overcommit to these Mutas, because I don't think the Mutas are going to do much for him after this point. He's done a lot of harassment with them, but with the Archons out and the High Templar moving out, more and more Corsairs in the air as well, Mutas are not going to last forever. There's Archon being microed against by the Mutas, but a helpful storm from that one High Templar helps out with this. But yet this is an all-Muta build from Modesty, just trying to go in micro against. He does take out the Archon. Excellent micro with those Mutas, takes out the Archon. Now I'm not sure if there's any additional Archons left for Horang. Yeah, he's still stuck on the 2 bases for now. I think he was trying to establish that 6 o'clock, because I see him down there. I see some purple blobs down at that area, but hasn't managed to do that yet. He's having to resupply his mining units for for both Nexuses, but now there's more Mutas trying to kill all the rest of the cannons that are inside this base. All the cannons down inside of this main, and the Dragoons trying to get close. Now, Horang definitely can get enough Dragoons. He's already got a hefty number to protect against this amount of Mutas, but now the High Templar are trying to protect again. Storming, kind of a dud storm, tried to intercept those Mutas as they were flying a particular direction, but they switched direction. But with all of these Dragoons in, I think that Horang will finally be able to defend against us, not to mention some more Corsair splash being helpful. Taking out the Corsair, though. So this is an absolutely vicious play from Modesty, and he seems to be keeping up with his own macro as well. He's still on 3 bases, of course. I should definitely work on his 4th soon, but yeah, just look at all this harassment he's done, taking out plenty of probes to make a huge dent in Horang's game. But I think he's done the amount of damage he needs to do, so he can just kind of fly out of there and build up that ground army a bit. He's gotten plenty of Hydras out, as you can see. Getting a nice ground army. Oh, sniping of the High Templar, 2 snipes 1 of the High Templar. 2nd manages to get away unscathed. Well, a little bit scathed. A slightly scathed High Templar. And a bit more harassment from Modesty at that natural expansion, but he's running very low on Mutas. I saw about 2 or 3 Mutas in that one clump, and that's definitely not going to be enough to last too much longer against the hefty amount of Dragoons.